Hi, I'm Leslie Rogalski, a member of Beadalon's design team. You may have seen me on television, know my work from books, DVDs, my classes at bead shows. I'm also honored to be a Create Your Style with Rogalski Crystals ambassador. Today I'm going to show you how to work with the Beadalon loom, and I'm going to start with showing you what you need to work on a loom. This setup shows the basics needed to work on a beading loom. Of course, you need a loom. It's a metal frame with evenly spaced springs at either end of the frame that are perfectly incremented to string the wildfire back and forth for your beads. There's a wooden dowel on either end that rolls, and I'm going to show you later how to string and use the wooden dowels. So you have your loom, you need straight, hard beading needles, a gauge that's going to fit through the size of your beads, wildfire in any of the three colors you may want to choose to camouflage your thread, because your thread's going to show a little bit in your loom work, especially on the sides. So it's really a design choice to use something that blends in or contrasts and adds contrast to your design. You need a nipper tool or a scissors to cut your wildfire. And most people like cylinder beads for beadwork because of the fabric that it makes. They fit together nice and snug. And it's always good to have a bead scoop so that you can be sorting your beads and keeping them nice and organized. You want to have an economy of movement, and you'll see in another video when I show you how to bead why you want to keep these. I'm right-handed, they're on my right. Over here you can see some finished examples, and as you see, you can make larger pieces like cuffs. You can also make really small pieces like these earrings. These are all done on a loom, and they show a couple different ways to finish, which you'll see in yet another video. So this is your basic setup. You have a nice beading mat, remember to have good lighting, and you're set to go. When you start to work on a beading loom, you do what's called warping the loom. This is where you're going to string the threads onto which your beads are woven. On the beading loom, you have adjustable dowel rods with little nail heads, and your warp threads are going to wrap around each of the nail heads. So you want to make sure the nail head close to you, you can work with the beading loom perpendicular to yourself. That's the way I work. You may find you want to work side to side. It's really up to you. I'm working with it perpendicular from my tummy out. I'm going to tighten the little wing nut on the side that's closest to me, and all I'm going to do is tie a square knot. I'm working from the spool of wildfire. I'm not cutting a piece of thread, and I'm just going to tie a little knot like you would just tie an absolute square knot around this. That gets cut off later, right like that. So you can see that, and pull a little tail out of the way. Now I'm going to string a narrow warp, and the thing about stringing a warp is you have to decide according to your design how many beads across it is, and you're going to string one more thread than you need for your design. So if I want to string a design, say I'm going to make a little pair of earrings on this, and I want it to be 5 beads across, I'm going to string 6 warp threads. And you're just going to eyeball it to about where the side is going to go, and you can see that I pulled the thread right into one of the grooves in the little spring, and again eyeballing it straight as possible across the span of the loom, and then you're going to loop around the nail head on the other side. Then you're going to come back and put the next thread in the next little space of the spring, right like that. And I'm pulling it pretty snug because you're not going to have to play it like a guitar, but you're going to want to have that kind of nice taut tension. I'm bringing it back again into the next spring on the other side towards myself, wrapping around the nail head, and I'm going to work back and forth. Remember I said you string one more thread than you need for the width of your design, so I'm going to string 6 warp threads for a design that's 5 beads wide. Now I have 4 threads, which gives me 3 spaces for 3 beads. In bead loom weaving, the beads sit in between the warp threads. Go back and forth, wrap around, come back into the next one, Now it looks like I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Now, to finish your warp, once you have the amount strung, you're going to just wrap a couple times around the nail head where you are. Take your nipper tool, cut the wildfire, and bring it around and make a half hitch to hold that in place. Okay, now you have your warp. It may feel a little loose at first, and this is where the rolling of the dowel rods really helps. Just pull the dowel rod towards you and away from you a little bit so that you have a nice tension and you're ready to start your beadwork.